All right, welcome and good morning. I'm Marlon Martinez alongside Bella Line.
And we're joined by American journalist and current executive editor of the LA Times, Kevin Merida. Kevin, you've reported everything from sports, politics, everything in between. How do you kind of adjust back and forth between the two, or do you have to?
You know, I think journalism is just about curiosity. It's about research. It's about finding out and studying your subjects. It's a lot like school, you know.
Yep.
You're learning constantly. It's a continuing education, and so every opportunity to explore any of the rich subjects that people want to know, it's been great.
That's great. All right. Well, how do you, as like a print and digital media, I know we talked a little bit about this yesterday, how do you show multicultural representation within that? I know Marlon asked you that question yesterday, but we kind of wanted to circle back to that. How do you show your multicultural representation through your work?
Well, look, I think, you know, you're covering the country is rich. LA happens to be a place that's rich in multiculturalism. You know, it's 1 in 4 Californians and foreign-born. I think something like 100 languages are spoken. You know, we have the largest Chinese population outside of China and the largest Armenian population outside of Armenia. So it's a very rich cultural mix. Half of the population roughly is Latino. And so we have to cover, have a rich, diverse mix of people in our coverage because they are our citizens. You know, they're our consumers. They're the people who make up the place. And so, you know, it helps to be in a place that is truly multicultural. I think we're also a product of our own upbringings and identities. I think everybody brings to journalism who they are, how they grew up, who influenced them, their lives. I grew up in Black communities, you know, and that's part of my identity. It's not my only identity, but, you know, I bring that to my outlook about journalism.
Okay, great.
True representation, and that's super important now in the generation we are, in the century we are. Do you feel like it ever played a factor that you kind of doubted of where your life would be right now?
Well, I was inspired, you know, by my family. It starts with my father who died young, but, you know, dared to really pursue a career in geology, you know, Wichita State University, you know, as a Black man in the 50s. And so just the kind of daring to take a chance on himself, to pursue something where he didn't have a lot of role models that look like him, was an inspiration to me, you know, that you know, you have to try to pursue your passion. And I hope students do that here, and just to bring it back to you all before you graduate. That, you know, always kind of believe in yourself and pursue the things that really will drive you, you know, and really keep you interested and engaged.
That's great. Well, being from Wichita, how does it feel, you know, to kind of be back in your home state, but also I know imposter syndrome is a big thing. I know both of us kind of have felt that a little bit, just being from Kansas students going on to big markets. So how do you kind of deal with the imposter syndrome? You're like, I'm just a boy from Kansas, you know?
Well, you all, I'll just say this, you all shouldn't feel that. You wouldn't have those jobs if you hadn't excelled, you know, so you earned them, and now you can go ahead and take off and get on your own rocket ship. And so, you know, I think just study. You know, I think one of the things we talk about sports as a metaphor. I use a lot of sports, is that you go in the gym and you work in your game. You know, maybe you don't have a great 3-point shot. You're a shooting guard. You go in the gym, work on your shot, figure it out, figure out spots, and that's the best thing you can do. Is just kind of keep honing your skills, sharpening yourself, learning from others, and you won't be imposters.
And we as students, like you just said it, sharpening our skills. For students interested in following similar pathways that you have followed and you have excelled in, what does it take? What do they need to do starting now?
Well, you're doing it, right? First of all, you're working in the field. You have to get reps. You have to get practice in order to excel. Make some mistakes, learn from mistakes, listen to people, read, study the craft, watch others do it. Pick up tips, constantly build relationships, so that they help to carry you for wherever you want to go. Because you ultimately also need people that believe in you. We all need somebody to believe in, and no one gets to be great by themselves. Like, I woke up, I'm great. No, and so I think that's part of it. Just, take it by storm. Go after it.
Absolutely. I love that you brought up relationships. Yesterday we had a great conversation about how much relationships matter, and the connections that you make truly do matter. All connections matter. So can you kind of speak on that a little bit, or how those connections and relationships have really helped you grow where you're at now at the LA Times?
Yeah, there have always been people that sometimes people gravitate toward you. They see something in you and they want to lift you, and I think that's a good thing. But sometimes you have to go develop those relationships, and there have been so many mentors, everything from college and afterwards, that I've really learned a lot from, and those have been central to my development, because people that you can look up to and say, man, I wish I was as good. I develop as a writer. I wish I could write like David Marinus, and who's a friend of mine and a great author, and so no matter what stage you are in your career, you can still learn from people.
Great.
You have accomplished so many accolades, from LA Times to ESPN. The list just goes on, and I mean, we strive to grow up and we look up to people like you. And so you're here to receive a very special honor. And how does it feel?
No, it feels great. It's humbling. William Allen White was a tremendous journalist, someone well respected, came from a small town. Bought and ran the Emporia Gazette, and so it's a really this journalism school's named after him, and so it's a really very important honor. I didn't know a whole lot about it until I received it. I saw the people that had gotten it before, and a really impressive list. So I'm humbled to be on that list, and it's also great just to be here. It's a great journalism, the mass communication school here, great reputation, and it's good to be with all of you. It's great being with you.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. What's, I guess, your one piece of advice for KU students, no matter their degree choice? What's the one piece of advice that you've learned throughout your lifetime?
Well, I think the main thing is, one of the things I think is, don't be in a hurry. Everything can't be accomplished in a year. Learn, go through the steps, learn what you know, slow yourself down sometimes, and so that you don't get ruined by ambition. Don't let, it's good to have a healthy, healthy portion of ambition, because you want to do things, but don't let it ruin you. Don't just try to find ladders to climb and try to get to this place or that place. You'll get there. Do it the right way.
Absolutely.
And just some fun little question. We're in Lawrence. How has your time been here in Lawrence?
It's been fantastic. Had a great dinner. Met some new people. Saw a good friend of mine, longtime Kathleen Sebelius, who's was governor and a longtime public servant here. And we accidentally ran into Bill Self, the great coach. We didn't get to talk to him, but we saw him. He was in the same restaurant we were in, and we saw someone said, "That's Bill Self." And so you one of the greatest college basketball coaches ever.
Sounds like you got the full Lawrence experience then, right?
Went to Allen Fieldhouse, which I'd never been to.
Yeah.
Got a great tour there, legendary facility, basketball cathedral.
Yeah.
And so that was fantastic too.
Now you just got to come back for a game.
I
right?
have to come back for a game.
You have to come back for a
I'm a big college
game.
basketball fan.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you so much for joining us.